Good evening, everyone. How are you all doing? Welcome back to another stream. I will shut that blind in just a moment. I hope you're all well. Let me go and do it now before we start. So it doesn't blind you all while we stream. Welcome, everyone. I hope you are well. It is the eve of FPL for another season. It's good to be back. It's good to have it all kicking off again. My team is almost set, almost, not quite there, but we are pretty much there. We'll get into my team and everything like that in just a moment. If you guys haven't followed already over on Twitter, make sure you go and do so. Philip, thank you very much for subscribing. If you don't follow over there, the link is in the description. We are about 50 followers away from 26,000, which would be great to hit before the start of Gameweek 1. So all of these new subscribers, thank you so much. Over the past couple of days, it's been, pretty crazy. So if any of you guys don't follow me over there, it's where I post most of my stuff and updates about what I'm going to do with videos. And if you ever want to get your team rated in one of the Rate My Team videos as well, you will need to go and follow over there, because that's where I get all the screenshots from. So let's dive straight into it. We'll say hello to some of you as well. So say hello in the chat if you are in, and we'll get into that. We have made a few changes. A few changes to my team between the last video and now. Whether those changes stay or not, I don't quite know. I'm not set on exactly what I'm going to go with. So we've got Sanchez in goal, the usual as it was in my team selection video. Amati has come in for Tsimikas, and Benrahma has come in for Rafinha. Will I share my team before the deadline? I will. There'll be a video up tomorrow at some point. I'll be streaming as well tomorrow about lunchtime, and then there'll probably be a video after that with my full team. I would say, how many locks do I have in my team? I would say I've got 13. There's only 2 positions which I'm considering changing now. Tsimikas isn't in there at the moment, but we'll get into all those discussions in just a moment. So, Arda, Daniel, Ryan, Mitch, Hossan, Niral, Shiraz, Crazy Dude, Hossam, Joe Jella, Cameron, Ning Sang, Shirag, where are we? Sharan, Neo, Mohammed, Caldo, Lewis, Guma. There are some few new names in here, guys, so thank you for joining. Lewis, I'm 1974, Hafiz, Lewis, Sanan, all of you guys in there. Thank you for joining. As always, get your questions in straight away. Start firing them all away, and we will get to them all. Good luck for the season, everyone. But yeah, good to see you. Chris, thank you for joining again. Sigurd, welcome, guys. So yeah, let me zoom in. Is that a bit small for you? There you go. This is my team as it's set up at the moment. 3-4-3. I'm very happy with it. The 2 players that I'm deciding on at the moment are Amati, my 4.0 defender who I go with, and Benrahma. We have seen Lukaku be confirmed. His price will probably get announced very soon, if not tomorrow morning. So he's in the game before Game Week 1, I imagine. Don't think he'll be ready to start Game Week 1 for Chelsea. I think he'll be on the bench for us. But Benrahma and Amati are the 2 options that I'm going with, and I have $1 million in the bank to spend at the moment with this team. So that's where I'm at. Let's do a few questions. Yeah, so I have 1 million in the bank with this team. Son or Mahrez? So for me, I'd be going Son. If you can afford Son, I think he's a better option than Mahrez. Do I have any money in the bank? 1 million. Was on a break, but now back, got Mahrez in. I like Mahrez as pick. He doesn't fit my team. I do think he's a good option to start the season with, but he's not quite there at the moment in my team. I just like the options that I've got. Vestergaard should be in the team for Leicester this weekend. This is the thing. I don't know whether I need to wait on news of whether Vestergaard is ready to start this weekend. And if he is, then I definitely can't go Marty, and I'll probably have to go with Tsimikas. But for now, I'm alright with how it is. Westido, thank you for subscribing. Benrahma's stats last season aren't good at all. Rafinha's a better pick. Yeah, but Benrahma's... I'm not buying him because of his stats last season. I'm buying him because he's going to fill the Lingard role and he's been great in pre-season. Let me turn the lights on as well. I don't like this lighting very much. Let's go with that. Let's see how that does. Yeah, that's a bit better. The glare of the window. Ricardo Pereira or Bertrand. So I don't think Bertrand will be in that Leicester team for very long. So I would worry that he's going to lose his place pretty quickly. So if I had to go, I'd go Ricardo Pereira. But I like the West Ham defence in Soufal more than I like them. Hey, do you think I should go with Mahrez and 1 mil in the bank or Son at game week 3? I'd just go Son straight away if I'm honest. Julian Marty deserves to it. He did play well in the Community Shield. I just don't know whether it's going to happen. If they've bought Vestergaard, then I just don't think they'll rush him in game week 1 is what I think will happen. I think a Marty will start game week 1 and then we'll see Vestergaard from game week 2. Can I do players I should target for a league fantasy draft? Yeah, so I mean, just getting a good player. I'd start by getting a good player in each of the 3 positions. There are a lot of good cheap defenders that I probably wouldn't worry about defence too much. I'd go midfield and attack first, and goalkeeper I'd leave to the end. There's a lot of good ones in defence. YouTube, thank you guys for subscribing. I have turned down the browser source a little bit, but yeah, is it risky to start without Trent? Absolutely. Yeah, I think it is. Sarr and Benrahma, Amati or Target and Brownhill. Benrahma and Amati. It depends if you need them to play every week. But I'd probably go Benrahma and Amati. Yeah, that's probably where I'd go. Barnes or Benrahma. I have the decision to make between the 2 of them basically in my own team. And I am on Benrahma at the moment, but it's saving me $1 million in the bank. I'm just worried about Barnes' minutes. This is the problem for me. Let me move out that way. I'm worried about Barnes' minutes. Any reason I like Tony over Rafinha? Well, Rafinha has been in my team for Benrahma for a long time. But I sold him this afternoon. I like Tony. I think he's the main reason Brentford got promoted, everything like that. I just think he's got to score goals if they're going to do anything in the league this season. Why am I not fitting Son into my team? It's just I want Fernandes and Salah first, and I feel like if I have Son on top of them, it is too unbalancing to my squad. So that's, the main reason. James Rodriguez, what do I think about him? Yeah, I think he's I don't think he's necessarily going to start game week 1. I'd wait until I think their press conference is tomorrow. I think he's 7 million actually, isn't he? This is too much to pay for him. I was going to say I like him, but I was looking at the comparison points and the other players you can get for his price. I wouldn't be going for him. There we go. Son and Havertz or Rafinha and Bruno. So I'd be going for... again, I want Bruno in my team, so I would be going Rafinha and Bruno in my team for Game Week 1. Just while I fiddle with the settings a sec, guys, we are 100 of you watching, but only 20 likes. If you guys could like the stream, it helps it get shared around. Sorry, it helps it get shared around, and it's completely free for you all to do, so would be much appreciated. Cool. Thank you for those who have just done that. Is Barnes a sure starter? I think he is, but from what they've said in the press conference today, I feel like he'll play 60, 70 minutes every game and be an early sub. Now, if that's enough for you, and it probably is enough for him to get some returns, then great, but he's not fully match fit, is what they've said. Lewis Wood, thank you for subscribing. What do I think about Harvey Barnes? Harvey Barnes is a good pick. I do like Barnes as a good pick, but I just don't have him in my team at the moment. I have the money in the bank. So if I go to my transfer page, I do have money in the bank to go Ben Rama out and Harvey Barnes in. I do have the money, but it leaves me with nothing in the bank, and I really like starting the season with money in the bank. So I could do that, and then the other option is Amati to Tsimikas. Again, I just don't know whether I want to use up a third Liverpool spot on Tsimikas in case Jota does really well at the start of the season and is playing every game. Then what do I do with? Do I start Tsimikas and then I'm stuck with him? I'm going to have to sell him if I want to get Jota in, which is my slight worry. Jota is a player that I can't speak highly enough about, but I really like his prospects. I think he's a brilliant price at 7.5. He's not going anywhere from my team. Lukaku and Jota or Bruno and Tony? I'd go, Bruno and Tony, because I don't think Lukaku's going to start the first game. We don't know what his price is anyway, and I'm not sure about Jota's minutes. Abian, thank you for subscribing. Is Grealish going to start? I think he probably, as time goes on, I think he might start. He'll start at least one of the first two. I do quite like him as an option. If Jota does start and Firmino doesn't, it's a straight swap 65 minutes in is the only concern. So will Amati start matches? Maybe only game week 1. So if I click confirm on that, 1.5 mil players at the moment. Fair enough. Saka or Dele Alli or Mora, please. I wouldn't be going with any of them. I'd go Ben Rama before I'd go any of those. Tusair, thank you for subscribing. Thanks, guys. Bertrand, I do like, but he's only going to start the first couple of games, so I wouldn't be going with him. Yeah, my bench is at the bottom there. Greenwood and Ings, both are in my team. I really like both of them. Let me zoom in a little bit. There you go. Is DCL going to start? I'd wait for the press conference tomorrow, but I think he probably will. As time goes on, I think he probably will start. DCL or Bamford. If DCL's fit to start, then I'd go with him. If he's not, then I'd go with Bamford. So I try and make the decision on who you think's going to start. Jared Bowen or Harvey Barnes. I'd go Barnes. If I was going for a West Ham midfield, it would be Ben Rama. It wouldn't be Barnes. Thank you, guys. Thanks, guys. Welcome, everyone. Cheers to all the new subscribers. Let me just put slow mode up a little bit because I can't read all your comments and I want to answer all your questions. Cool. Do I start with White and Sanchez or just double up on Brighton defence with Veltman and Sanchez? I like White. I really like White. White's in my team. He's on my bench. So I would definitely be looking at him for game week 1. I didn't mean to bump that up to 30 seconds, actually. Let me just bump it back down. Roger said that Barnes isn't fully fit. I still think he'll start. I think what you've got to expect from him is he'll play 30 minutes every week. 30 minutes, 60 to 70 minutes every game. So I do like him as a pick. He's in my team at the moment. It's one of the players I'm yet to decide on. What do I think about Vladimir Soufal? Yeah, really good pick at 5. Probably my favourite 5 mil defender at the moment. Thank you. Yeah, hit 9k subscribers just before we came live. So appreciate all the support. I have gone Tsimikas. First 2 games he can start for me. So yeah, Fantasy Manager Weekly. Thank you. Rafinha, yes or no? Yeah, so basically I've got an option of 3 players, I think, for this spot in my midfield. And it is Barnes, Rafinha, or as you mentioned, Buendia. Barnes, Rafinha, or Buendia. And I need to decide on who that one is and who that player is going to be. Haven't decided on it yet. At the moment, if I had to decide now, it would be Rafinha. I just don't like he plays Man U game week 1. Best 7.5 attacker and midfielder, Mason Greenwood, or the forwards Antonio as well. Those two at that price. Great work. How about Richarlison? I don't love, and I don't like Maddison either. There's much better options at their prices, I think. How much is Richarlison? Yeah, 7.5. Same as Antonio. It's a no for me. If I worried about Barnes' minutes, why not Greenwood? Why not Greenwood? Cavani's out for the first 3 till the international break, apparently. Greenwood's been great for them last season. I just expect him to start. It's Ole. Welcome. Thanks, guys. Antonio or Ollie Watkins. Antonio for me. Andrew, welcome. And I see you've just answered a question as well. Do you think Havertz will get a full 90? I think game week 1, do I think he'll get a full 90? No. Do I think he'll start? Yes. Do I think Greenwood is enough to cover Fernandes? I don't think anyone will cover Fernandes. I wouldn't be looking at it like that. I think Greenwood is great for his price. If you decide that you don't want to go Fernandes, that's fine. And I probably would own Greenwood for sure if you don't do it. But I don't necessarily think he'll cover him. He won't get the same number of points. Any plans to have a City player for game week 2? Not at the moment. I plan to not use my transfer after game week 1 to game week 2. I don't plan on making a transfer. Son or Mahrez. So I'd be owning Son if I had to own one. Rafinha and Wilson or Greenwood and Tony. Greenwood and Tony, I think, out of the two of them. This is my team. Yeah. It's not quite set in stone, but we're pretty much there. We are pretty much there. Gundogan and Rafinha or Mahrez and Sarr. I don't love Sarr. I'd probably go Gundogan and Rafinha. I like Gundogan as a pick. I think if I owned a City player game week 1, it would end up being Gundogan. Devanch, welcome. Thank you for subscribing. What about Rafinha instead of Tony? I could, but it weakens my bench considerably. And I do like Tony as a pick. I'm not just owning him for the ownership. I like him as an option. Why is everyone on Antonio? His stats, if we look at a few of his, like, the Opta stats on Fantasy Football Hub, if we go to, like, forwards, his stats per 90 minutes is really good. These guys have all played. His, like, goals per 90 minutes and everything is really high. Where is he? Let me just search for him. Dean, good pick. Not great pick. 5 points per start. He's done it consistently over 26 starts, which is really good. An attacking return every 0.75 games. It's just good and consistent, and they have nice opening fixtures. So where are we? Newcastle, Palace, Southampton, all in their first 4 is good enough for me. What's my team not including subs? So this is how I'm lining up currently for game week 1. Thoughts on Zaha? Much better options at his price. Buendia fit for game week 1. We're yet to hear. I'd be surprised now if he isn't. Do I think Lukaku's price will get revealed tonight? Potentially. I imagine they know what his price is going to be. So with the game launching tomorrow, there's no real reason not to. Greenwood or Barnes? Greenwood. When is international break? It's after game week 3. After game week 3. Smith Rowe and 0.5 in the bank or Ben Rama? I'd go Ben Rama. I don't like Smith Rowe for the first 3. Thanks, Quarry. I've got slow mode on, so all should be good. Thoughts on Gundogan instead of Greenwood for some City cover, which is his ability to get some big calls from centre mid. Yeah, but I think Greenwood has just as many points in him, and their fixtures are much nicer. Leeds, Southampton, Wolves, Newcastle in their first 4. Then I can reevaluate after that. Son is a good pick. I just don't have the funds for him in my team. Bruno and Salah come above them in my team. So, yeah. Your second draft without Bruno, what's the best plan on rotation? I don't think I'll end up going without Bruno. I do like what I can do with the money if I don't do it, but I do really like what I can do without him. So I don't think I'll own him for game week 1. Thoughts on Bailey from Aston Villa? Yeah, he's a good pick. I don't think he should be fit for game week 1. That's the worry for me. Tony or Benrahma? Tony. Will Mahrez start? Yeah, let's do a poll. While I put this poll up, if the 150 of you in here who are not liking the video could just do that, that would be great. Just while I do this, if you could just like it, would be massively appreciated. Always forget about the polls. Luke Turner, thank you for subscribing. Alex Bennett, thank you. Has that gone up? There we go. Get voting on that. Is Simicast going to be in your team for game week 1? The only thing is it now hides the bottom of the chat. Close poll. There we go. I can't see it. Cool. So, Gundogan or Harvey Barnes? Last piece of the jigsaw. That's quite close between the two of them. I'd go Greenwood over either of them. If it meant leaving $500,000 in the bank, then I'd probably go Barnes. But I do like Gundogan's options for the start of the season. So, I think Gundogan will start every week. So, I'd probably go Gundogan out of the two of them. Ziyech been popping off, but he's got injured last night, so he's not going to be ready for game week 1. Chores, I don't quite understand what you mean without Bruno. What's my plan on rotation? Why am I against Iheanacho? So he's not going to be starting. He hasn't played or started in pre-season very much. So I don't think we'll be getting starts. He'll come on as a sub and an impact sub, but there are much better options who are going to start every week. So yeah, there's other options. If you guys got any ideas for polls that you want running to help with your own team, feel free to put like poll idea and then the question in the chat, and I will put some of them in for sure. Ayling or Ben White? I would be going with Ben White probably. If it's rotating, then Ayling, but if it's just to sit on your bench every week, then I'd go Ben White. If Sancho and Greenwood plays, how will Man United line up? So Greenwood on the left, Sancho on the right, probably Martial up top, Bruno, Pogba behind with Fred, or no Martial. Is Bruno a FOMO pick? No, I think he's a good option, and he allows me to have a route to other premiums. If I start without him and I put the money into like 3 different players, if I need to get Kane in, it's so difficult to do it. So, will Reece James play? I don't know whether he'll start game week 1, but he will be playing 75-8% of Chelsea's matches this season, I think. Any Chelsea defenders for the first 2? Just don't quite know who's going to start game week 1. Rudiger's probably the only one I think's nailed, or Thiago Silva. I think you'd want the attacking threat of the wing backs, but I don't know if Chilwell and Reece James are going to be fit to start the beginning of the season. Sorry, yeah. I'll leave this on my full team. Let me zoom out a little bit. There we go. Don't get Chelsea defenders. Even though with their difficult fixtures, I think they are good options. So, yeah, I'm still on board with getting them. Let me end that poll. 128 of you voted. What were the results? Has Greenwood ever played on the left? Occasionally. If not, he'll play up front, which is even better. I don't think Hammers will start game week 1, no. So 15% of you are no, and 85% of you owning him for game week 1. Lyndon, thank you guys for subscribing. Keenan, appreciate it. Target or Matty Cash. I'd probably go Matty Cash. A bit of a differential. I don't think... Well, actually, I'd wait and see whether Buendia is fit for game week 1. If Buendia is fit for game week 1, then I'd go Cash. But if he's not, then Target will be on set pieces. I'm going to add that in as a poll option, but a bit differently. So we're going to go with... let's do the questions. Is Tierney a good option? Yeah, but I don't like two of their first... I don't like two of their first 3 fixtures, and I don't think they'll keep a clean sheet on Friday night, so that's why I'm not going for him. Throughout the season, he'll be a good pick. But... Which of these cheap options, just putting a poll up for you all, which cheap options would you like? Rafinha, Benrahma, or Ivan Toney? Which of these would you be owning for the start of the season? El Ghazi or Buendia for the first game? Again, wait for the press conference, but I'm not sure Buendia will be starting. I'd probably go Benrahma over either of them. Best midfielder, 5 million and under. I'd just go Brownhill and stick him on your bench. None of them are going to score you very many points at all. Soufal versus Tsimikas versus Shaw for game week 1. If I could only start one, I'd start Luke Shaw and I wouldn't own Tsimikas. I wouldn't bother with him. Do I think Havertz will play? I do think he'll still start. Yeah, I do. I do think he'll still start for game week 1. Tony, he's on pens. Well, let's see what the poll says at the end. Will Maddison start? I'm not even looking at the results until the end. Soufal versus Tsimikas. Yeah, sure. When will Cavani join the team? Apparently during the international break. So when am I which is after game week 3, sorry. When am I planning to use my first wildcard? So I tend to wildcard between game weeks sort of 5 and game week 8. Once we've got a little bit of understanding, there tends to be a few fixture swings around then. I give my team, I can plan short term at the beginning of the season, and then I've got a bit more to go on around that time, wildcard until and play and plan for the rest of the season until I play my second wildcard around game week 30. Tends to be how it works for me. Not always the same, but it tends to work. Barnes or Rafinha or Benrahma for the start. So I've got exactly the same question. At the moment, I've got Barnes in my team, but yeah. Is Tierney a good option? Not for the first 3 game weeks, I don't think he is. There's much better options. How do I find my suggested lineups, Quarry? So if you put hashtag tips lineups as one word, search it in. I did one on Monday, but there'll also be one coming out tomorrow afternoon after the press conferences. Must have City player for game week 1. I don't think there's any. I'd probably go Gundogan if I had to own one. How do I plan on fitting Lukaku in? If I needed to, Antonio and Fernandes to Lukaku and Benrahma is very easy 2 transfers. You can't see my team. Josh, I think you can. Is it not? TT Gaming, thank you. It's on screen. Well, it should be anyway. 100 likes on the video, guys. Thank you very much. Good to be back. I'm very happy to have the season starting. Let's see what the poll is saying. Interesting. 105 votes. So I'm just about to end the poll. So just get your last votes in that before I end it. Is this my final draft? There will be a final draft video up tomorrow, but I can't see it changing very much. The only player I really see myself changing here is Barnes to someone else. You don't really understand Benrahma. It's preseason hype. He's likely to be playing in the similar role to what Jesse Lingard did. So there's that. There's a little bit of preseason hype around him, but if he's playing in what Jesse Lingard did at the end of last season, which it seems to be the case, we know how good Lingard was, and he's 6 million. Probably the best option at that price, along with Harrison. So would I go with Jota and Greenwood? I would go with Greenwood out of the 2 of them, but that's just my preference. Cool. Let's end that poll now then. We are seeing 50% of you would go Rafinha if you had to own just one of these. Mohammed Yasir, thank you for subscribing. 150 of you guys voted on this. Rafinha, 50% of votes. Tony, 29, and Benrahma, bottom. I don't know whether Lukaku's price has actually just been announced at 11 million or not, or I've just been firmly baited. I think I have. I doubt they will have announced it yet, but how long will Greenwood start? I think the first sort of 4 game weeks. The first 4 game weeks, I think I'm pretty confident that he'll start. So, yeah. We say every season not to get carried away with pre-season hype, being burned too many times. Yeah, but I suppose it's pre-season hype building on a player that we saw last season and the role that he's going to play. Oh yeah, that's true. Rafinha or Barnes is one that I think a lot of people are trying to decide on. Just straight A or B. Actually, let's add a couple of others. Do I know what day the price changes occur? They can occur every night. So they could occur on Saturday. PR, thank you for subscribing. Thoughts on Callum Wilson? He's a good option. Definitely a good option. 7.5. I just have gone with Antonio in my team at the moment. I could start with him. I could end up, if I go Benrahma in midfield, I could end up going with Wilson over Antonio. Can you help with predicted lineups? I've got a full team at the moment. If I ever have gaps, I post on Twitter if I need someone, but I've got a full team. Jota will start game week 1, but I don't. My theory with Jota is that he starts 2 of the first 4 games, and that would be a worry for me. So it's a Firmino and Jota. I wouldn't be going near. I wouldn't go near Rafi. I wouldn't go near Firmino anyway because of his price being too expensive. There are much better options, but Firmino and Jota rotate too much for me. So I would be steering clear of both. I can see why Jota is appealing given his price, but I'd rather Gundogan or Greenwood for me. Drop Tony for Rafinha and Barnes. I could drop Tony, but I just think he's a good option for the start of the season. I expect them to. He needs to score goals if Brentford have any chance of doing anything this season. Brentford were the highest scoring team in the Championship last season. Geared up to just get Tony to score goals. Howley, thank you for subscribing. So I just expect him to score goals. So with this team, I have 0 in the bank. Yep. Richarlison is not a good option for me. So I just other options at this price. Everyone's got exact same team. It does feel like there's a little bit of a template forming, but in this together, I like my team a lot. There's a little few things that I might want to change. As I said, it's Barnes is the one I'm looking at. I will be posting. I'll be streaming again tomorrow lunchtime, and then I will be putting a team reveal video up after that for you guys to watch with my final team. And then I'm sure you'll all be watching other streamers later in the day. But thoughts on Mahrez, also Soufal or Tsimikas? I don't mind Mahrez. I don't love him. I'd rather Son. I'd rather Gundogan. Soufal or Tsimikas. It depends if you need them beyond game week 2. Game week 3 onwards, Tsimikas may not be playing anymore, but Soufal will be. So yours is different. No one's essential. Salah is the only player that I wouldn't want to go into the start of the season not owning. And even then, Mane's been on good form. So, but yeah, Salah's the only essential player. I don't think Bruno is essential. Is Trent? Trent's probably the second closest there is. Again, I wouldn't want to go into the season without him, but you said I could help with Brighton. But when I said yes, you didn't respond. I apologise if that's the case, Joshua. Drop me a DM on Twitter, and I apologise about that. But cool. Let's end that poll now. So, Rafinha 35%, Barnes 31%, neither 16, and both 16. So, pretty even split. Victor, thank you for subscribing. Pretty even split between the three. Rafinha getting slightly more love than Barnes. Do I think Greenwood starts game week 2? I do. I think he starts all the first 4, hence why he's in my team. Yeah. Thoughts on Iheanacho? Not a good pick at all, in my opinion. Yeah, just much better options at his price. I don't think Iheanacho is going to start. Kane's in contention. Do I think he's going to start? I just can't. Well, depends how much he's done on his own pre-season. So I don't know how to turn on translate into other languages. If you send me a message on Twitter of how to do it, like, I'd happily do it. But yeah, Tony and 1 million in the bank or Callum Wilson. Thank you guys. Jack, thank you for subscribing. Shadman, thank you for subscribing. And Victor, all of you guys. Why not drop Greenwood for Rafinha in your team? Because I think Greenwood is one of the most under-owned players in the game at the moment. So I am starting with Mason Greenwood in my team for sure. Minamino is unlikely to get game time. He played quite well pre-season, but he's one of those players that did well pre-season that I don't expect to get that many minutes. Cool. For any of you guys, see the league code above me, you new subscribers. That's a code for the channel's league, and there are prizes every month to be won. So if you aren't in that already, get in there before game week 1 starts. Ludwig, thank you and welcome. Kishan, thank you. So yeah, make sure you join that. There's a link in the description which will automatically join, but you have to be subscribed to be in with a chance of winning any of those prizes. Is it worth to transfer Lukaku in? I don't think he'll start game week 1, so I want to wait and see on him. I'd be interested if his price comes in before the start of the season, and I don't see why not. But how long is Robertson out? I think you can only imagine that he's out until after game week 3, the international break. So why Greenwood when Sancho will start? I think they'll both play. If United blank, I have 2 players who blank. This is true. But if United score and win 3-0, then I have 2 players who could do very well. So is Grealish a good choice? Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I think he'll probably start the first couple of games. I still would probably be going Gundogan if I had to go for a Man City player. I think he's got the most chance to get the most minutes over the first couple of matches. Cool. Thank you guys. There are a lot of you in here. We, of course, Joe Payne, just the occasional reminder to like the stream while we're here. If you are looking forward to Game Week 1 and you're excited to have FPL back, then please do hit that like button. Try and get it up to 150. Barnes, Rafinha and Greenwood. It's all these midfield polls. They're all slightly different prices. Greenwood comes out on top. I don't need to run a poll on that. If he doesn't, then fine. But what do I say about Mbeumo? 5.5 mil, good option. Their fixtures to start the season are fine. We think they're going to play a 3 at the back, which will put Mbeumo as a 5.5 mil mid playing up front. So I do like him at his price. He's probably my favourite 5.5 mil midfielder, if that's all you've got. What time tomorrow will I be streaming? So it'll be about midday UK time, which is 6 hours before the start of Game Week 1. I'll be back then. Hopefully no one else will be live, so you guys can come and chat and chill, and we will do this all over again. Adam Armstrong, Southampton. I don't know if he's going to be ready for Game Week 1, so I'd want to wait and see on that a little bit, but he could be a good option when we know he's going to start. Cool, we will get a poll in just a bit again, but we're all right at the moment. Vedansh, welcome. And you've asked a question: Salah versus Mane is a differential. Still Salah. I know that Mane's been very good for the start of the season and in pre-season, but I still back Salah to be the best option on penalties. Lukaku price prediction 11 million. Tony and Rafinha or Ings and Soufal. I would be going with Tony and Rafinha or Ings and Soufal to start both weeks. That's quite tough. I don't love West Ham. I don't love West Ham's defensive fixtures, so I probably wouldn't back Soufal if I could, if I had other options. So just putting a poll out for you all to vote on while we continue. What formation are you starting with for game week 1? Best mid in the 7.5 mil bracket, Mason Greenwood, still and will always be, in my opinion. I know some people disagree with me, but I think he's going to get minutes. So, no Amati. It could be Amati and for Tsimikas in my team. It's one of the decisions that I've got to make, but I'm not 100% at the moment. It will be one of the two, but come game week 2 or 3, Amati won't be in the team, and nor will Tsimikas, because Leicester have just signed a new centre back. So, Dele Alli highly underrated. Yeah, so that Tottenham midfield is something I'm looking at. If I can't get to, if I can't get up to Son, for example, could I go Dele Alli, for example? He's looked pretty good in pre-season. He's playing very attacking as sort of a second striker at times. So there's potential for him to be a really nice option, definitely there. Benrahma, Rafinha, or I may imagine that means Buendia. I don't think Buendia is going to start game week 1. I'd keep an eye out on it. So Benrahma, Rafinha, I'm trying to decide myself. I'm currently swaying more towards Rafinha. How much you spend for forwards, midfielders and defenders, it's completely up to you. It's just with the players that you pick. There are a lot of good midfielders at the moment. You can't, I don't think I can put a definitive, this is how much on each. Yeah, it depends what formation you're playing as well. Cool. 89 votes on the poll so far. Ryan, thank you for subscribing. Welcome. How many? Cool. Thoughts on Goodwin over Greenwood? I just think Greenwood's got more consistent goal threat at the moment for me. So, am I a United fan? No. I am a Chelsea fan. Barnes or Havertz? I'd probably start with Harvey Barnes if I had to pick one of them. Gundogan won't start. Would be very surprised if he didn't. I see him starting in central midfield for them again, as he did for most of last season. I don't see any chance of him not starting, especially with Foden and De Bruyne out for game week 1. Alif, I would go Harvey Barnes for sure. The other option there is not getting anywhere near a pitch anytime soon. Dele, Salah, Bruno, Jota, a good midfield. Yeah, Dele's one I'd want to wait and see on. There are other more proven players for game week 1 that I'd want to see how they perform a little bit more. Yeah, so yeah, Dele's a nice option, but not for game week 1 for me. Wilson or Ivan Toney. If I had the money, I'd probably go Wilson, but I like the value that Toney offers. Antijul, welcome. Welcome. Will I put Lukaku straight in my team? Unlikely, because I don't think he'll start game week 1, and I won't be going to buy him for game week 2 with their fixtures. I think Greenwood starts the first 4 because Cavani is out. Greenwood's been very good when he's played, deserves to play, and I don't see him playing Fernandes, Pogba, McTominay and Fred against the opposition that he's got, which makes Greenwood, Martial, Sancho front three very likely. Chris, thank you for subscribing. City preparing 150 million for Kane makes Son even a better option. To be honest, I think Son's equally as good an option whether Kane stays or whether he goes. If he stays, then he has that link up. But if he goes, then he'll be playing up front probably. So why Soufal and Tony or Tsimikas and Wilson? Again, it depends what your bench is like. I'd probably go Soufal and Tony if you need them to play every week. Yeah. How many games do I think Gundogan will start? I mean, I'm trying to predict Pep Roulette, but without Foden or... thank you for subscribing, Dave. Without Foden or Kevin De Bruyne being fit, I don't see him not starting the first 3 games. Now, I'm trying to predict Pep Roulette, which is very difficult, of course, but that's just my thinking at the moment. What I think is best, Soufal or Dean to start with. Soufal or Luca Dean. I'd probably be going with Soufal, to be honest. I think he's better value. Which players in my team am I current? So a few of you guys in the chat asking, is this my team and who am I unsure of? So I'm not 100% on Harvey Barnes and I'm not 100% on Tsimikas. The rest is pretty much set in stone. I will have a video out for you all tomorrow, which will have my final... I haven't ended that poll, have I? I will end that now. I will have a video out tomorrow asking with my final team lineup ahead of the start of the season. So that will be there tomorrow, and there'll be a stream tomorrow as well for you all. So that will cover my final team section if I change my mind on the likes of Harvey Barnes and Tsimikas. David, thank you for subscribing. My thoughts on Jota. Surely he will start. He's a premium in disguise. Gets same return to Smiley and Salah. But I don't see him starting every game when they've got Firmino. I just don't see that happening. That's my opinion, and like some people do disagree with it, but I don't think Jota's got more than 2 starts in the first 3, 2 out of the first 4 probably. Son and Soufal or Ings and Barnes. If you had to play them both every week, I'd probably go Ings and Barnes. If you could bench Soufal when he has difficult fixtures, then maybe Son. But it sounds like you need them both weeks, so I'd go Ings and Barnes. Start with Greenwood and then change to Rafinha, or start with Rafinha. Mason Greenwood for me again. I just can't see past him. Yeah, Mbuemo, as I've mentioned, is a good pick. 5.5, the best mid at that price for me for the game week 1 to sort of game week 3 fixtures. But if you can stretch up to 6 million, there are much better options. What I think, Benrahma or Barnes, all these questions coming in. Yeah, I've got similar questions. I like Barnes at the moment is the pick I've got. He's the one in my team at the moment, so just worried about his consistent minutes in the team is my only concern. That is my only concern at the moment. Mahrez and Tsimikas or Jota. Did I see the thread on Twitter, re-promo teams, etc. made me panic sell Tony? No, I haven't. Feel free to send it to me, but I am fully happy with having Ivan Toney in my team. Who will play left back at Chelsea for game week 1? I think Alonso will. Son or Barnes? I mean, there's a £3 million price gap between the two of them. If I could only own one, I like Son if price wasn't a thing, but there's a lot you can do with that money elsewhere. Cool. yeah, get some questions. Keep them flooding in. If you guys can, of course, just like the video. If you are enjoying the stream, much appreciated. Are you all captaining Salah for game week 1? I know I could run a poll, but if you guys could just let me know in the comments, is Salah your game week 1 captain? Greenwood versus Gundogan versus Faisal, thank you for subscribing. Gundogan, Greenwood, or Grealish for game week 1. So I've gone Greenwood, so I answer Greenwood. Son instead of Fernandes. I like having 2 premiums. It makes my team more flexible than if I put that money in someone else. Salah captain Salah. Of course Salah. Yeah. Salah. Is anyone not going Salah? Let me know. You've got Son, Grealish, Rafinha and Salah for the mid. It's a good midfield, but let's say Kane does really well at the start of the season. It's very difficult to get him in if you don't have the second premium in your team. It's very difficult to be flexible because you'll want to keep Salah. Then it's very hard to get them in if you don't have your second premium. And Son doesn't do it. You first found your channel when I had 5k. Now I'm at 9. Yeah, it's been a great pre-season. I can't lie. So yeah, I've been very pleased with how it's gone. Trent captain. Interesting. Mane captain. Trent was the 4th in my captaincy ranking this week. Sam plugging away. Do I think Bukayo Saka and Mason Mount start in game week 1? No, I don't. I don't think they'll start, and I don't love them as good options anyway if they did start. Differential captain for game week 1, Mane or Trent for me, another one of the Liverpool guys. Will I be having deadline streams like last year? I really enjoy those. Also, Twitter chat rooms are really fun. Yeah, so there will be some deadline streams some weeks. There'll be my usual sort of Friday, Thursday night, depending on when the deadline is as well. So, I mean, I would say, but if you turn on notifications, it will just remind you when I am doing live streams, so you can come and get your questions answered live. And Buemo instead of Tony, not for me. Tony on penalties is a big help, and he's their main goal threat. Got double the amount of attacking returns last season than Mbuemo did. Do I think Barnes is nailed to start? I do think he'll start game week 1, but I think he'll play 60-70 minutes every game. Is what, from the quotes that came out today, I think he'll play 60-70 minutes in most matches. You've got Son and Tuchel in the bank rather than Bruno. I don't think that's worth it then. If you're not spending the money, then Son is a better pick. Bruno is a better pick than Son. Barnes is not fully fit. It's such a risk. I think he's going to start. I just don't... They've played him all pre-season. I don't see him not starting. I might not own him come game week 1, but it's not because I don't think he's going to start. Is Grealish going to play? It's a hard one. I think he probably will. Game week 1 or game week 2, I think he'll probably start. Yeah, I think he probably will. Same team, but Mahrez instead of Barnes and 4.5 instead of Tony. Mahrez instead of Barnes. That really weakens your bench, because as soon as Tsimikas doesn't play, you're playing Ayling and White every week. So, is that lighting? It is. It came when we got the flat. It's just like strip lighting all the way around. It's like what streamers have, isn't it? But I think Buendia will start. I wouldn't own him for game week 1. So no. You have 40 million and you need 2 midfielders in your starting team. Do I recommend anyone? I would. Anas, thank you. Two midfielders, that's 7 million each. Greenwood and Rafinha. Easy. Worth having Martinez, or is he too expensive for a keeper? The three keepers that I'd consider owning are Sanchez of Brighton, Martinez in goal for Villa, and Backman of Watford. I've probably gone off Backman a little bit, so it would be Martinez or Sanchez. I think over the first 6 they score similar points though, so I don't think it's worth the investment over Sanchez at Brighton. Is it a good idea to play Tony against Arsenal? Yeah. I still think he's a good option. Meslier, a good goalkeeper for game week 5. Yeah, but I don't make transfers for a goalkeeper unless they are, unless I'm on a wild card. So if you wild card, then it's a good pick, but I don't go using your transfers on a goalkeeper. Look sick. If I knew what I was doing, I would kick the room out like that. I didn't do it, so any good midfielders which isn't a differential at 7.5 million, Mason Greenwood. Thoughts on DCL? I do like him a lot. If he's fit for game week 1, he's a good pick. I won't be having him in my team. I prefer Danny Ings for it. I don't know what I'm going to change my channel name to. I haven't had time to think about it over the past week, to be fair. Very much. Been quite busy with this, but I will be thinking about it, and any input welcome on it. Any input you guys want to add in, of course, is very welcome. Would I pick Bamford or Ings? Benrahma, Rafinha, give extra money in the bank. If both would have 0.5 in the bank anyway, I'd go Rafinha. But if it was to leave 0.5 in the bank, then I'd probably go Benrahma. Mason Mount, no, not a FPL option. No one subscribed. That's a real shame. Wish someone would. Oh, Andy's video with Ben Foster's out. That's where everyone's going. Go and watch it later, after we finish this stream. You can't ask Ben Foster questions live, but you can ask me. Aubameyang for game week 1, not at all. Not an option at all. What's wrong with current channel name? Basically, YouTube thinks when people search for me that... Basically, YouTube thinks that people are searching my name wrong when they put it in. They basically think it's meant to have an S instead of a Z. And so just think they're spelling it wrong, so they don't show it. Template. My team is very template. Like, I'm not going to lie. It's very template. Unpopular opinion, you have Dele in midfield over Benrahma. I can see it. Against top teams, he plays quite deep, so I don't think he'll do very much game week 1. But game weeks 2 to 4, he could be a good option, and I could end up with him in my team over Harvey Barnes for game week 2 or game week 3 if he shows himself to be playing quite far forward. Veltman, White, Ayling. If you swap Veltman and White, if you swap White for Ayling, then it's very good rotating a Veltman and a Leeds defender and a Brighton defender rotate very well. Make it FPL Harry. I can't have an S. There's already a rather large YouTube channel that has an S at the end of it. I think Lukaku will be 11 million. Benrahma's the best 6 million option. Who starts, Alonso or Chilwell? For game week 1, I think Alonso might, but generally it will be Chilwell. Is Ferran Torres a good option? Again, like, that front line will rotate. I think he may start up front game week 1, but it's a transfer waiting to happen, I think. Rafinha and Wilson, or Tony and Greenwood. Rafinha versus Greenwood, and Wilson versus Tony. Tony and Greenwood, hence my team. Ayling, Veltman, rotate. Yeah, so if we look at the first... We'll put it to the first 10, for example, but we probably won't need it for that long. And we put Leeds and Brighton in. Brighton, you play Burnley away, Watford, and then Burnley or Everton, Brentford, Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Watford, Norwich, Wolves, Norwich. Like, you can rotate a Brighton defender and a Leeds defender into your starting 11 every week almost perfectly, where you play Burnley, Watford, Burnley, Brentford, Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Watford, Norwich, Wolves, Norwich. It's a brilliant rotation. So if you're looking for two 4.5s to have in your team, if you can only afford one 4.5 defender in your team, and he's not going to play every week, go Ben White. But if you're having two, then it's these two. It's White, it's Veltman and Ayling for me. What price will Lukaku be? Probably 11 million. Probably 11 million. As subs, you have Veltman, White, and Obafemi. Yes, I've just discussed that. But wouldn't it be risky if you have Sanchez? I mean, I still think Brighton is a very good defence. Like, they still come out. If we look at Fantasy Football Hub in here, of course, for anyone interested where I get these stats from, there's a link in the description which will give you 25% off, but it ends at the game week deadline tomorrow, that offer. So make sure you sign up before then. There's a link in the description. If we look at their defence last season, we go by team and defence. They sit third best for fewest expected goals conceded, and third best for expected clean sheets last season, only behind Man City and Chelsea. Yet the Brighton defenders are 4.5 million. The Chelsea and Man City defenders are 6 million. If Brighton continue to perform defensively as they did last season, their defence is just unbelievable value. Do I think Liverpool will keep a clean sheet? Yeah, hence why I've got two of them in my team. So having Tsimikas and Trent, I kind of hope so. So those questioning, I said I advise having Veltman and Ayling, but I have White and Ayling in my team. It's because I'm doing a different rotation to that. If you were going to play one of those two every week, game weeks 1 and 2, but if I add Liverpool into that and I go 1 to 3, then I play Norwich, Burnley, and then that rotates very well. So I've got the addition of Tsimikas in that, which makes White the better third pick over Ayling. That makes sense. So if you play one of the three, then it's Liverpool, Brighton, Leeds. Sorry, Arsenal, Leeds. Liverpool, Arsenal, Leeds. But if you don't have Tsimikas, then it's Brighton, Leeds. Cool. Chances of Barnes playing. I think he'll play 60 minutes almost every week. What's my reasons for taking Tony over Rafinha? So I like 3-4-3 because there's a lot of good options on the bench for a 4.5 midfielder. It's alright, Stephen. There's a lot of good options for a 4.5 midfielder. It helps strengthen my bench quite a lot. In theory, I don't need it. Barnes is a good pick. I do like him. Tony's a good pick. I've done a lot to get the team I've got at the moment, but yeah. Jamar, thank you very much. How many? Let me just quickly have a look. How many subscribers we are on? Doom Switch. Am I going with Son? No, I'm not at the moment. So my team is up on screen. Let me check on my phone. Is it big enough for you all to see what my team looks like? But that's my team up on screen at the moment. Thoughts on having a 4.5 attacker? I mean, then none of them are going to start. But if you have one in your bench because you're playing a 3-5-2, for example, then it's fine. Then it's fine. Mahrez and Armstrong or Rafinha and Cavani. So Mahrez and Armstrong. Oh, Rafinha. I don't think Cavani's not starting the start of the season. I don't think Armstrong is either. So I would go Rafinha and go for another forward. Why is White third on my bench? He won't be. He won't be. He'll be second on my bench. Thoughts on starting? I don't think Iheanacho will start the first few games, so he's not a good pick for me. Thanyap, thank you for subscribing. Worth double Brighton defence. It could be a good option. I think if there was a cheap defence I was ever going to double up on, it would be Brighton. How do you put subs? So if you go on your team, these little like arrows at the top, you can swap them around. Click on one and then click on the one you don't want. Chance of White playing tomorrow? 100%. Well, 90%. I don't see him not. Let's do another poll. Let's see who you've all got in goal for game week 1. That went up much quicker. Brownhill or Basuma, and why? Brownhill's got more attacking threat than Basuma does. So yeah, Brownhill for me. Bertrand, Tsimikas and Amati. Well, Bertrand and Tsimikas and Amati are, not going to be playing come game week 3. So it would be Tsimikas, Ayling and Ben White for me. Would be the 3 that I'd go with. Wow. Get your votes in. Let me know who your goalkeeper is for game week 1. Why Shaw opposed to Cresswell and Dean? I think he's the highest predicted defender for the first 6. If I go first 6 game weeks, Fantasy Football Hub predicted points. Again, there's a link in the description which will give you 20% off. Shaw comes out as the 4th highest predicted scoring defender in the first game weeks. Higher than everyone else, so just think he'll do well. Just trying to order my dinner while we're going. FPL Chris here, how are we doing? Good luck, Chris. Thank you for joining. How long am I keeping Tsimikas? He'll play the first 2 game weeks for me, and then that'll be it. Why do I have Barnes and not Grealish? Because I have no money in the bank with this team. Best 4.5 mil defender. As I mentioned, it's either White, Ayling or Veltman are the 3. Mahrez and Watkins or Tony and Son. Can I... Hang on a minute. Let me try something. Does this look like I'm looking more at the camera than I was before? Does this look better? Do I feel like I'm not looking into a corner anymore? Let me know. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Just give a little bit of a rejig. Apologies. There we go. Maybe this is better. Best 4.5 mil defender. We've done that. Thoughts on Richarlison? So again, I think there's better options at his price. I'm not sure he'll start game week 1 either. This is exactly why you have Cancelo. He's had a full preseason too. If he starts, he's a great option. Of course, it's just the risk that he doesn't start. That's always the big question with him. Will Ziyech start? No. So he picked up an injury. If he picked up an injury last night, so I don't think he'll be starting. If the deadline was in 2 minutes, who would I pick? Barnes, Rafinha, or Benrahma? I'd own Rafinha. I'd go Rafinha if I had to make the decision now. I'm looking more at the camera now, but you preferred it before. Oh, I don't know if that is insulting or I'll just ignore it. What's the app I use for rotation? So that's called Fantasy Football Fix. But it's not free. Who do I start? Trent, Shaw, Simicast, Dean, or Veltman for game week 1? Who do you start? Well, you need, if that's your defence, you start Trent, Shaw, Simicast, and you don't own Dean. I'd downgrade Dean to Ayling or Ben White. Target, Soufal, or Lindelof? Yeah, so target. I wouldn't be going Lindelof for sure. I'd probably go Soufal out of those options. I would probably go Soufal. As August is only half a month, yep, still a prize. So anyone new subscribers, one of these ways, there is a league code up there, which will give you access to the subscriber only league, which will give you prizes every month if you do well. So Grealish, any goods? Yeah, if he starts, I just worry about his minutes. I do just worry a little bit about his minutes. Why not use Dean? Because I don't love their fixtures. The more I look at them, I don't love. Let me have a look. I'll show you. Let's go on Fantasy Football Hub fixtures. I don't think their fixtures are as good as we thought they were when I first looked at them. From a defensive point of view, the more I look at it, predicted results for them. Leeds, Brighton, Villa away. I'm not sure I see a clean sheet for them in any of those three. And then Southampton, Burnley, Norwich at home. I think Dean is a good option, but I needed the money elsewhere. Like, I have a 3-way rotation of Ben White, Ayling, Simicast, all who in theory it requires less investment for me because I'm only spending 0.5 on Ayling and 0.5 on Ben White. It's technically cheaper than just owning Dean and having two 4.5 options. So I feel like my squad is stronger because of this. Insane, thank you for subscribing. Vardy and cash in the bank, able to keep Kane later. I think Vardy, if you watch my captaincy option video, I think Vardy's a good option for game week 1. So if that's the way you want to go and you save money for Kane, it's not a bad option. Bowen, I'd rather Benrahma. Ollie, I just think Benrahma at 0.5 cheaper is the better option anyway. If they were the same price, I'd still probably go with them. You think Calvert-Lewin could be amazing if he turns out to be fit? Yeah, their fixtures are pretty good. So if he is fit, potentially worth going with. Pepe or Saka? I would... Pepe, I don't think Saka's going to start game week 1, but there are much better options for the start of the season. Arsenal's fixtures, game week 2 and 3. I'm forward planning with having Ben White for these fixtures, but this is dreadful. It's not good. Have Havertz and Goodwin and ended up dropping Ings. Dumb move. I'd rather Ings than Havertz. I would rather Ings than probably both of them. Best differential for the start of the season. I like Soufal. I like Ezri Konsa. I have a differential post that went up today, so go and check that out on Twitter. But those two were up there. Danru, welcome, no problem. Always watching streams. So, am I going to use Brownhill? No, he'll sit on my bench, but he gets the occasional attack and return, and he's 4.5 million. So, what's your opinion on Chambers instead of White? It's minutes that are the issue for me with Chambers. As long as Bellerin is at Arsenal, Chambers isn't nailed. So, yeah, that's my worry. Until I see a prolonged period of time of Chambers playing, it's a no for me. Marco, welcome. Yeah, anyone who's watching, it is subscriber only chat at the moment, and you will get a little shout out if you do subscribe as well. We're trying to get as close to 10,000 by the start of the season. We are on 9,250. So only 750 away. So if you guys, anyone in here wants to help me get there, then that'll be much appreciated. What are the prizes? It's like vouchers and stuff every month for the whoever comes top. So make sure you are in that. Let me put it in the chat for anyone who isn't. There you go. Oh, I'm still running that poll. I always forget about my poll. Sanchez owned by 78% of you in goal. A lot, but I own him, so I can't say that he's not a good option. Martinez 11 and other 10%. 1 in 10 of you not going for either of them. I'm not sure I'll get it by game week 1, but I suppose with a stream tomorrow potentially, people on their lunch break, for example, my final team. But Sam, thank you guys. Favorite Twitter accounts, essential follows. I don't want to leave anyone out. Ben Krellin, Ben Dinnery for the injury stuff straight away and the rotation stuff. I don't want to go into like specific community accounts because there are so many that I'd leave out. Those two are just the updates I get for injuries and everything like that. Thought on Ali and Benrahma. I'd rather Benrahma. Am I not scared not owning City players? I get a little bit, but I can't own them all. Like, I just can't have everyone in my team that I want to. So it is what it is. I can't own them all. Simple as that. Benrahma or Declan Rice? Benrahma easily. Doubt they will pay 100 million just for the Champions League. And I will wildcard game week 7. So Grealish should play first 6 games. Fair enough. He'll get minutes. He could be a good option and we may all be jumping on him. But it doesn't. I'd have the budget and I don't know where I'd fit him in. I could go Benrahma instead of Barnes and upgrade Greenwood to him. But if you've watched any of the first hour of my stream, I'm not selling Mason Greenwood. So Tielemans or Jorginho, neither of them. They're both 6 million. Benrahma or Jack Harrison are much better options. Or Joe Willock if he does sign. Best midfielder, Mason Greenwood. I feel like I've said Greenwood about 30 times since the start of this. 30 times? Probably more like 50, 100 times since the start of the season. Why Marty? Yeah, I just think he might start game week 1. You reckon 4-4-2 will work with Son, Bruno, Salah and Rafinha? It's a nice midfield. If you're having Son, for me, you need Bruno and Salah as well. It's a nice midfield. I don't know what the rest of your team looks like, but I can't complain at that midfield. Am I keeping Greenwood? Because I think he's a good pick. I think he'll start the first 4 weeks. And with that, I sound posh, so United on top. I'm a Chelsea fan. I don't know what that comment means. Vardy or Bamford? Neither. I'd go cheaper than that. Lloyd, thank you for subscribing. Welcome. Of course, new subscribers, I will always answer your first question. As soon as I see that you pop up, I will look for your question in the chat. Buendia for game week 1 or sell? I don't think he's going to start, if I'm honest. Don't think he's going to start. Why, Chelsea players, their fixtures aren't that great. So why Souček play more minutes than Benrahma last season? Yeah, but because Benrahma is going to play in the role that Jesse Lingard played last season. That's the aim. You have what, 5 mil spare to stick with Ben White or switch. If you can save 0.5 at the beginning of the season in the bank, I would do it. It really helps game weeks 2 and 3 if you've got spare money to put into other players. Armstrong to start. Yeah. I don't think he'll start game week 1, Southampton, but I think game week 2 will probably be ready. My opinion about Rodrigo, he's a good pick at Leeds, but I would just rather have Rafinha or Jack Harrison in my team. So I probably will end up with, as the guy said, if it came down to it, this would be how I'd line up for game week 1. Save 0.5 in the bank. If this is what someone asked me now and said, how are you going to start the season? It would be this. Triple United, triple Liverpool, Leeds in Rafinha, Tony Ings, Antonio up front, with Sanchez in goal. Wilson or Antonio. You're edging Wilson because I'm a Newcastle fan. They're both good picks. I just think Antonio is more explosive. But Wilson is on pens. What do I think about Son for 8 million? This is going to be I'm going to say, yeah, I think Son at 8 million would be great. And you're going to say, well, you should own Jack Grealish then or something like that. But if Son was 8 million, he'd be in my team for sure. What do I think about Ings' chances if Buendia, Watkins will out? So Watkins is going to be fine. I still think Ings is a good pick. Their first 3 fixtures are just too nice. I can't not own them for Watford, Newcastle, Brentford. How much do I think Varane will cost? 5.5 mil. Thoughts on Callum Chambers? So I don't think he'll start with regularly while Bellerin. He'll play some games, but not them all. Grealish or Souček, who'll get more points this season? I think probably Grealish. How essential is having 0.5? I don't think it's essential, but if you're torn between 2 players and you really can't decide between them, and one of them gives you 0.5 in the bank and one of them doesn't, I would opt for the one that does. But if you find a team that you really like for the full 100 million and you can't find a place to downgrade elsewhere, then don't go downgrading for the sake of it. That makes sense. Milner might start instead of Tsimikas. I think Tsimikas starts game week 1. Realistically, that's all I need from him. In theory, I could play Ale in game week 2. Barnes or Rafinha. So for me, Rafinha is the one in my team. Rafinha is the one for me. Rafinha or Ward-Prowse. JWP Ward-Prowse is not going to be fit for game week 1, so him for me. Cool. Right. Just while I do something quickly for you all, let me hide that a sec. I'll continue to answer questions, so keep firing them away. Just like and subscribe if you guys are new. Is there going to be another team selection video? Yeah, there'll be one tomorrow afternoon, and there will also be a stream tomorrow lunchtime UK time, so 6 hours before the deadline. There will be one. Josh, thank you. Start Greenwood, Benrahma or Barnes. Pick 2. I'd go Greenwood, Benrahma, to be honest. Just don't see myself starting with Harvey Barnes. Why Rafinha over Barnes? It saves me 0.5 in the bank. I don't think there's going to be much in them in terms of points. So, actually, I'll do it at the end. Is Omabab Midele nailed? Yeah, but their fixtures are so bad that you may as well not have a playing defender. But he should be playing the first 4 or 5, potentially longer, with the injuries that they've got. I sold Barnes for Rafinha just now. If I had to make up my mind now, it would be Barnes. It would be Rafinha that I go with. Taufik, thank you. Will Ings start for sure? Yeah, I don't see, especially with the injuries to Buendia and Bailey, I don't see them not starting game week 1. Tsimikas, Mahrez and Benrahma. Or Soufal, Jota and Rafinha. Option, you've got Mahrez and Jota, who I don't like either of particularly. Tsimikas and Benrahma or Soufal and Rafinha. Depends how long you'd need Tsimikas for. Soufal and Rafinha is much more longer term. I'd probably go those two. Thoughts on Sancho starting? Yeah, should start game week 1 now, I think. Is Roro injured? Yeah, he's probably going to miss the first 3 games until the international break. That would be my thought process. Pickford or Sanchez? Sanchez easily. Losing my voice a little bit. Smith and Watkins won't play wings. Yeah, he won't, but Ings and Watkins will play up front together. When am I planning on playing White? So it's forward thinking. Game week 4 to game week 9, they have a brilliant run of fixtures. So I'll play him most weeks there. Why don't I go Barnes, then switch to Rafinha when fixtures change? Again, I could do that. I don't love booking in the fixtures. How do Leicester and Leeds rotate? If I go Leeds, just put Leicester in there for now. 1 and 2. I'd play Leicester, Wolves, West Ham, Norwich. Game week 4 is not great. I don't know who I'd play there. Then I'd probably change, but then Newcastle. It doesn't switch that well, to be honest. They don't switch at a point in time, particularly. Tony or Wilson? I just think Tony is... I'd have Wilson alongside Tony, but I would own Wilson as the one that Tony is the one that I'd go with out of the two of them. Is Mahrez or Havertz essential? No, neither of them are at all. Both will be rotation prone at the start of the season, especially with Lukaku joining. But who I imagine will be joining before the start of the season. Cool. I think we have been live for an hour and a half. So I'm going to wrap up the stream there. We will be live again tomorrow about lunchtime, and there'll be a team selection video for you all before the game week deadline. So of course, make sure you go and subscribe now, as Zambuzu has just done, with notifications, so you get a reminder when that stream goes, so we can finalise all our plans before the start of the season. Gerard Savage, thank you. That is my team for the moment. Take one final look, but that's all we've got time for. If you have questions that I haven't answered, go and follow me on Twitter and drop it. I am 4 followers away from 26,000, so only 4 of you need to go and follow me over there. I'm literally 4 away, so go and do that. But yeah, subscribe, like the stream as well if you could. Watch my videos from earlier. I've just put up a Bruno draft. If you haven't seen that, let me just go and put a link to that in the chat for you all. But yeah, we'll be back again tomorrow. I hope you have enjoyed, and I will... How am I gonna... That was loud. Cool. Thank you all. Go and check that out. Right now. And I will see you all very soon. I'll see you all tomorrow, guys. Thank you for joining. And I'll see you all tomorrow.